Hola, buenos días, mi amigos, mi familia. I am just feeling so nourished from this experience of traveling and leaving behind my life on Maui for a little bit and just launching off so full send into the unknown. And I haven't really been posting very much. I've just been really present and integrating and putting to practice, I feel like, all of the things that I have been learning in Maui. And so I am in this space where I feel so much clearer on what I want to share and what I have learned that I feel so many of you guys would be interested in hearing about. And so something that has been really present on my mind and my heart is this idea of rewilding. And this is actually why I've been reading this book, Women That Run with the Wolves. This is an OG. I mean, I think that we've all pretty much heard of this book, and it had its run, a couple of decades ago when it came out. And it's interesting because over the last few months, I've noticed that so many of my girlfriends have been reading this book, and I don't think that it's by coincidence that we are all being called back to Rewild our divine feminine frequencies. And so I thought it would be interesting to share a little part of this book. This book I highly recommend, and not just to women but to men as well, to really understand both your masculine and your feminine energies, and then also to really understand how you can best show up for the divine feminine in your life, whether that be as a brother, a husband, a lover, a son. There's so many ways that this can be expressed and practiced in your life to really level up your interpersonal relationships, right? And that starts with ourselves, of course. So there is this chapter in the book that I was reading today, and this chapter is all about nourishing our creative life force. And I want to just read to you part of this chapter and then talk about it just a little bit. So it goes, the creative force flows over the terrain of our psyches, looking for the natural hollows, the arojos, the channels that exist in us. We become its tributaries, its basins. We are its pools, ponds, streams, and sanctuaries. The wild, creative force flows into whatever beds we have for it, those we are born with as well as those we dig with our own hands. We don't have to fill them. We only have to build them. In archetypal lore, there is the idea that if one prepares a special psychic place, then the being, the creative force, the soul source will hear it, sense its way to it, and inhabit that place. Creativity is not a solitary movement. That is its power. Whatever is touched by it, whoever hears it, sees it, senses it, knows it, is fed. For this reason, a woman's creative ability is her most valuable asset, for it gives outwardly and feeds her inwardly at every level, psychic, spiritual, mental, emotive, and economic. Just breathe into that for a moment. Creativity, being a woman's, yours, most important, most valuable asset. How does that land in your body? How does that land in your mind, hearing that? I feel that could create a lot of perhaps uneasiness, because we have been so socially programmed to place value on what we are doing, how much money we're making, right? The economic status of our physical worlds, our relationships that we're in, the beauty that we possess, our bodies, right? And the best part is that this most valuable asset of creativity is not something that we force. It's not something that we externally do, right? And this kind of was confusing for me, because I've always thought of creativity as like, okay, I'm painting a picture, I'm creating a dream catcher, right? Like I'm actually doing something, and that's expanding my creativity muscle. But what this book is saying is actually more of an opening. And this book compares our creative channels as the divine feminine as a river, an ocean, a lake. So it's fluid. It's actually this opening to this current of fluidity that is able to run through us, which is our Shakti. It is our life force. It is our connection to the divine. So truly, the creative expressions that come through us are just simply a result of us opening up our chalices to connecting with the divine. And so whether that manifests as a picture, jewelry, dance, song, cooking, writing, there's so many ways to express our creativity. The most potent ways of being in this creative state is just by allowing that eternal river of life to flow through us. And this is our power as women. This is our most powerful asset. Our superpower that we contain is this life force, this vitality. This is our connection with God. This is our connection with Source. This is our connection with nature. This is our connection with our highest selves. And so when we are in this creative creation mode, we are literally just opening ourselves up as tools for the divine to move through us. So continuing to this, as we create, this wild and mysterious being is creating us in return, filling us with love. We are evoked in the way creatures are evoked by sun and water. We are made so alive that we in turn give out life. We burst, we bloom, we divide and multiply. We impregnate, incubate, impart, give forth. Clearly, creativity emanates from something that rises, rolls, surges, and spills into us, rather than from something that just stands there hoping that we might, however, find our way to it. In this sense, we can never lose our creativity. And I love this because so many of us as women, we are programmed to believe that the way to success is in this masculine, assertive, work harder, pour out more of ourselves, this very masculine, penetrative way, because that's what we're modeled, that's what we see, that's what's praised, that's what's taught to us. And so it's this rewilding, this reclaiming of our innate inner rivers of limitless creative life. And when we are able to go in to that devotion, into that connection, removing the blockages, the true work for us as women isn't removing the external blockages. And I would say this for men too, right? For all of us, it's creating those internal blockages. So when we remove those dams, when we remove that seaweed, when we remove those boulders that are actually preventing that current, that flow within us, then that extrapolates and we're able to give life, whether that be, you know, a life of a child or the life of a song. We're able to effortlessly and limitlessly, without depleting ourselves, we're able to create. And this creation is magnetic and sustainable, and it is our absolute magic as females. And so I leave you with this last sentiment is, what stands in your way? What is polluting your river right now from being the most wild and rupturing and flowing, cascading river? What's polluting it? Oftentimes, loss of vitality is the biggest polluter, meaning not feeling motivated, not feeling excited, not feeling energized, feeling depressed, feeling unmotivated to create. Oh, well, one day I'll create. Oh, I have all these ideas, but, you know, I'm just not ready to do that right now. Oh, I'll get around to it, you know, or I couldn't do that even if I wanted to. What? Like, that's for somebody else, right? And when we have that loss of vitality, that constriction, then we are polluting our own rivers of life. We're polluting our potential of absolute magic, and that external magic, that external money, opportunities, love, gifts, pleasures to find us, because they're dammed up inside of us. So really feel into that. How am I polluting my river right now from its purest, most freshest, most effortless flow inside of me that can cascade and share with the world? And remember, you have your own unique coding and blueprint of creativity that is unlike anyone else that's ever existed. So don't compare yourself to the way that others creatively express themselves, and don't limit yourselves to the way that you can creatively express yourself just because you've seen it done differently before. To take this practice a step further, I encourage you to actually go be with the water in whatever way you can, whether that's laying in the riverbed or soaking in the ocean, a waterfall. Perhaps it's just taking a hot bubble bath or feeling the water drip down from you in the shower, or just sitting with a tall glass of lemon water and just being present with that frequency, that sacredness of these water codes of life that are moving through us, our Shakti as women. I hope that this has resonated somewhere inside of you today. I would love to hear any comments, reflections, creative insights, pollutants, if you feel like sharing that in the comments below. And if you have any ideas of other, ideas around rewilding and the divine feminine frequency and the rose lineage and all of this, please leave a comment around what you want to hear more about, because I am really recreating this channel to be one that invokes and inspires the raw, wild feminine that is so ready to roar and be seen and be heard and is embodied and empowered AF. So for men and for women, sending you so much aloha and amor from Tulum. Have a beautiful day.